Morning everybody, Tyler with Arizona Adventure Rentals. Today we have the 2019 Freedom Elite built by Thor. It's the model 30FE. This is a 30-foot Class C, very popular model. It has a right rear slide and then it has a front left slide. So it's a double slide, big nice awning that's power. You have bunk beds back there, so it's a good setup for beds, different TVs back there. It's a really good layout. Today we're going to go through the outside, run around through the outside, and then we'll take a look on the inside. You have the TV here. RV has to be plugged in, or you have to have the generator running to run that. You have storage down here. This is your entry. Just inside this entry you have a couple of switches. One is a step switch, and then below that you have an awning switch along with the LED light for the awning, and then you have a battery switch. Battery switch you always just keep on, and then there's a solar charger system that does its own thing as well. Storage back over here, there's outlets. You'd have to be plugged in or generator running for those to be live. Then you have storage here. Normally this slide, when you have stop, this pops out about 3 feet, which gives you a lot of room inside, and then you can just imagine this to about right here. I leave this out when you want to unload your stuff, but you have all storage here, down over here. They're all lockable with the same key, and then you have hookups here for propane if you want to bring your own stove and line. So we're going to go ahead and go on the other side and take a look on through that and show you all the dump hoses. So here we have the left part of the RV. Normally when you go to any RV park, all your hookups are in the left rear. So if everyone's backed up into their spot, you have to back into your spot as well. Big storage over here on the left side and the rear. This is a sanitation flush. So if you want to run your water through there, you have to have the black valve open. This runs fresh water through your black hose and cleans your hose out as well. This is a city water connection. This will give you city pressure. It will not fill your tank up. This will just basically eliminate you having to turn the water pump on, and you'll have a little bit better water pressure when you're staying at a resort. You would fill up your water here. This holds about 50 gallons of fresh water. Stick your hose in there, take the cap off, stick your hose in there. As soon as that comes out of the vent, then you know you're full. Gas is here on the other side. It holds 55 gallons of fuel. Your generator runs off of that same fuel as well. So if you're going down the road, you can run your generator, you can run your air conditioning, keep cool in there. Sucks it out of that same tank. So you'll notice you're not getting very good fuel economy if you have your generator running at the same time as well. If your generator is under a quarter tank, or the fuel tank is under a quarter tank or an eighth tank, then the generator will not run. It doesn't want to leave you stranded. Down here to your black and gray valves, the hose is in the back bumper. You have a cap here, which is your sewer cap, and your gray water cap. You half a clip off, that comes off. Then your 3-inch hose is a half a clip on, goes down into wherever you're going to dump. As long as you have everything secure, pull black, then that will drain all of your toilet water. Then you would shut it, make sure you get everything out of the hose. Pull gray. Gray is what flushes and cleans all that water out, which is your shower water, your sink water. After you do that, if you're staying at a resort, you can leave both of those open. If you leave both of those open, anything that you use will just drain on down to the wherever you're staying. Now before you leave, you can leave your black valve open with your gray shut and run the hose through the sanitation flush, and that will clean out your black tank, and that will clean out your hose as well at the same time. Once you put that all away, as long as you secure it before you open up the tanks, the valves, and as long as you run plenty of water through it before you put everything away, it's not a very nasty process. Here's your 30 amp plug. We leave people the extension cord in that container there. Normal 30 amp plug, we just plug into here, plug right into wherever you're going to plug in. Most RV parks have the breaker that is flipped off, so if you plug in there, oftentimes they'll wonder why nothing works. I go straight to the microwave. If you have a microwave light on, then you have live power inside the RV, you're plugged in. If you don't, normally you have to flip a breaker on wherever you're going to plug in for your 30 amp. We give people a 15 amp adapter too, so you can bring an extension cord and then plug in wherever you'd like. The only thing that will not run your long extension cord off of a small 15 amp plug would be your air conditioning or your microwave. Moving on up here is just an outdoor shower. You can run hot water and cold water off of this. You'd have to be hooked up to city connection, or you'd have to have the water pump switch on. And if you want hot water, you'd have to go flip your switch on. Then you'd have hot water out here. This is propane out here. No key for that. Just unclip that. That comes down. You just have a fill up. Open, close the valve, fill you up. Make sure you open the valve when you're done and get all the air out of the system. You purge the air by opening up the stove, and that will get all the air back out of the system if you run propane completely empty. If you don't, you should be able to fill up as you wish. Up here you have storage. We always keep the electrical hose in here along with the electrical adapter, also along with the freshwater hose. The generator is in here. You will not need to get into this generator. You can operate everything from the inside. And that's it for this left side. And then we're going to go ahead and talk and go inside the RV and do a walk around inside. Okay, here inside the 2019 Freedom Elite, I always take people to the control panel first. This will tell you where everything's at, just so you kind of know where you are. Start the generator. This is your start-stop button. Sometimes if you haven't started it for a few days, or if it's really cold, you can always press and hold the stop button. What that does is when that turns that on, that primes it. It just starts a little bit easier, turns over a little bit less. Once that fires up, you know how it fires up because the button's on and the light's illuminated. Then you know that generator's on. What do you need the generator on? Biggest thing you need the generator on is going down the road. If you want to run the TV, if you want to run the microwave or any of the outlets, that generator needs to be on, along with the air conditioning. That's pretty popular during the summer. If there's just two people, you don't need to run the generator to just keep you cool inside because you have front air conditioning. And this is a small model, so it's quite a bit easier to keep cool. So that would be you need the generator on. If you're plugged in, your batteries are charging. If you have the generator on, the batteries are charging. And if you're driving, the batteries are charging. So the only time the batteries discharge is if you're stopped somewhere, not plugged in, and then you have your lights on. After 4, 5, 6 hours, those lights will get dim, your batteries will die. You have to come over here and start your generator up. That's what your battery display is, which is the second button. As if that battery volts go down, your generator won't even start. So you have to start the RV up, wait a few seconds, and then start the generator up. That's just a quick troubleshooting there with the generator and with your batteries. LPG is your propane. You have 4 things that run off of propane in this RV. The first would be your heater at night. The second would be your stove, and then it would be your hot water, and then your fridge. So those are the 4 things. All those are very efficient on propane, and with a full tank, you can last at least a week, depending on unless you're using a lot of showers or a ton of heater at night. But that's what your propane runs off of. You always take it full, you bring it back full. Any of your big major stores, your big places where you stay along your route will have propane. Big gas stations and RV parks all have propane, and we'll show that outside as well. Fresh water, this holds 35 gallons of fresh water. When you press and hold these illuminate, so it's telling you it's either full or empty. That's fresh water. And then you have black and gray. Black is just your toilet water, and then gray is your shower water and your sink water. Obviously, if you go with fresh water and you start to use that fresh water, it's either going to go into one of those 2 tanks, and you can fill yourself up full of fresh. And then as you use those, it's going to go into one of those 2 unless you have hooked up your sewer somewhere. Black and gray, that's it. You want water pressure, flip that on, then your water pressure is on. You have a pump light that's illuminated, then your water pump is on. You can go to the bathroom or shower or wash your hands. If you want hot water, flip that on and you wait about 10 minutes. You'll hear your propane light, and then you'll have hot water. Flip that off when you're not using it, otherwise you will run out of propane quicker. That's pretty much it for the display panel. We'll talk about the rear part of the RV and the bathroom, along with some of the stuff up front. So here's the back of the 2019 Freedom Elite. Let's start here with your thermostat. Very simple, basics, common sense. It's just off. It's flipped all the way off. Flip that on, and then the hotter you want it is the hotter it's going to get and turn on and off. Extend, extend, and retract. What makes this back so popular is that this whole bed slides out. So right now we have it slid out. We could walk around this bed. To retract it, you just press retract. That brings it in, and then this actually folds all the way up. So that's your slide, light switch, and thermostat. And then we'll move you up here, talk about the fridge. Now the fridge usually runs off of battery and propane. I usually just leave it on that mode unless you're plugged into an RV resort. Then you can flip it over to auto mode or plug mode. So you just have one switch. One's an on and off switch, and then you have a mode. Mode is either automatic, which right now we're not plugged in, so it's getting power right now from flame. Now you can adjust your level. That's your adjusted level there, and then that's plug mode. So once you go plug in somewhere, then you go to plug mode. It's not going to go into plug mode because we're not plugged in, so it will probably blink. So when you travel, I just leave it on flame mode. You want to leave it on flame mode and leave it on 4. That would get you cold. Once you plug in somewhere, then flip straight over to plug mode, and then it will run off of electricity. As far as your bathroom goes, this is a very good bathroom, good size. You just have hot, cold water. This is your shower. This is your normal toilet. Always flush with your foot here. Always flush with the water pump on. Otherwise, you don't flush with anything, and sometimes that's when people always have issues. You want to make sure that you always use marine or RV toilet paper, along with always having one tablet in there as you're traveling. That gets rid of smell and it breaks everything down. You have a couple of switches here. One of them is just your switch. The other one is for your fan up top here. There's some storage here for bathroom products. And then we will flip you around and point you the right direction up front to show you sleeping areas up front. Okay, so facing forward here on this Freedom Elite, people like this because it does have an oven. Not a lot of RVs have ovens. This has a good size oven along with your stovetop here. If you're going to completely run out of propane, it's good to always run air, get all the air out of the system. How you do that is once you fill back full of propane, turn your valve on here. You can hear it go out and either use the igniter or use a lighter, get all the air out of the system to repurge that out. This is your microwave. Anytime you go plugged in somewhere, I always tell people, if you know you're plugged in when your microwave light is on. So make sure that that microwave light on is once you plugged into an RV resort. There's always a big breaker wherever you plug in, so make sure that's on. If you come plugged in anywhere and you see your light on, then you know you're on. These are two good storages here. There's also a big mirror here. That's a big storage that goes all the way through into that back bedroom. You have a lot of storage up here. This table, this goes straight down, and then the cushions go together into a bed, and that cushion comes forward, and then you have your bed up top. It doesn't have a lot of storage outside because it's kind of smaller style RV, so I usually like to use a lot of that up front for a lot of your personal luggage and stuff. This is a flip around TV. It's got an HDMI cord in the back, and then we also give people a DVD player up here. This will run whatever you want. In order to have the TV on, you would have to have the generator running, or you'd have to be plugged in somewhere. Air conditioning, same thing with the AC. If you want the generator on, you would have to have the generator on to run this air conditioning. This runs AC and fan. If you are going down the road, you can run the generator to run that air conditioning unit. Just always turn the generator on, let it run for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then turn the air conditioning on. Same thing before you turn the generator off, always turn that air conditioning off, wait about 30 seconds, turn the generator. It just helps with it starting and shutting down. So that's it for facing forward up front. This is basic E350, 450. It's got a rear camera. There's HDMI ports to charge with and video outputs, and then there's a USB charger. This is a smaller RV. It's got a tow mode. Sometimes I tell people going down grades, it is better to put a tow mode on rather than riding the brakes all the way down. It's much better for the engine to brake. The mirrors are all manual. You can go out and move the whole actual head of the mirror to adjust them how you like. I like the bottom peripheral sides of the mirrors are much better. If there's anybody in a blind spot, that usually always shows it. And then you can always hook up your phone to Bluetooth up front. Bluetooth pins are always 0000 or 1234. Then you can hook up your phone up to Bluetooth, or you can hook it up to the aux cord as well. That's it for facing forward. We'll go ahead and start at the stairs and show you some of the displays on the stairs and then go from there. So here's a couple things on the entrance here of the RV. These are just your power outlet. If you want to be plugged in, you'd have to be plugged in for that to be live, or you'd have to have the generator on for that to be live. These are just inside switch, and then this is a big outdoor LED light, which is a nice long strip the whole length of the awning. This is an awning switch. You just push a button in and out, and your awning comes in and out. I usually tell people it's real windy, don't have it out at night. It's just 15 seconds. It's better to bring it in and just use it as you need it. This is a step light, nice to have, just runs off battery. Just kind of keep the bottom of the RV a little bit lit at night, so if you get up at night, you don't step on stuff. Battery disconnect switch, I always leave that on. Every once in a while a kid turns this off and you wonder why there's no power inside the RV. It's because somebody flipped that off. Flip that back on, and then that would give you battery power. And then this is a small solar panel charger, so that will actually charge solar and charge up your batteries and help you not run the generator as much if you're boondocking. So that's it for the 2019 Freedom Elite. This is the FE model. If it felt like this was information, if it felt like this was had good information for you, then just go ahead and give us a like. And if there's any ways that we can improve it, then just let us know, and we'll see you on the next one.